Hi, it's Thursday, August 13th, 2020. Welcome to Oscar Mike Radio on video. Video has not killed the radio star, not that I'm a radio star, but it's just me tonight. So I've had a really good slew of interesting guests, people who are advocating, trying new things, trying to move their goals forward. It's been great, but now you're just stuck with yours truly tonight. Happy to be here, and really happy as always to shout out to my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, Mark Holmes of Reaper Detailing and Power Washing, and Sean Schubert of Red Seal Martial Arts. I appreciate their support. They advocate on behalf of veterans, and they can take care of you like they've taken care of me and other people. Check them out. So I want to start off tonight with something that may or may not be obvious to you. We'll see. You may notice that in this video, I'm, in my Oscar Mike Radio shirt, made by Authentically American, 100% USA made. And all proceeds going back to veteran service organizations, but I'm wearing a Kansas City Royals hat. And you might be asking yourself, why is he doing that? Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're hanging on the last thread of suspense, wanting to know why. Well, here's why. In number 200, when I interviewed Mistress Carrie for her show and podcast and how she's advocated for veterans, one of the things that's happened with her show and her movement is this thing called the family. And I'm a member of one of the families that's out there, and one of the other members is in Kansas. He's from Rhode Island. His name is David, and I wore my other Kansas City Royals hat. He's like, "You're a Royals fan?" I said, "Yeah." It's like, "It's a nice hat." It says, "Actually tight, man." He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, I have a large head. And this hat is a 7 7/8. And if you know anything about hats at all, that's pretty large. But I actually need a size 8. So he sent me a size 8 fitted hat that is, for the first time in a very, 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 very long time in my life, extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. And I kind of wanted to wear this in his honor tonight. He didn't even ask for the shipping to be refunded. I'm going to do something special for him, but I just want to say thanks, Dave. My cranium size and dimensions have been a constant source of frustration and consternation growing up. In the Marine Corps especially, it was a source of amusement and wonder to my fellow Marines and the command who commanded me, because they had to get me special stuff sometimes. And, I'm reminded of my head when I put my motorcycle helmet on. I wear a 4X. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4XL motorcycle helmet. So it's just cool to put one of these on tonight and be comfortable. And I think it looks awesome. I really do. And I'm happy baseball is back on. And I just am blown away that Dave did this for me. So thank you very much, Dave. I'm going to do something special for you. We got to figure that out. And just want to give you a quick shout out and just kind of remind people that you never know what's going to happen when you listen to a podcast, somebody else's podcast or show. And this is one of those cool, great things. So thank you very much. So seeing as it's just me tonight, and I have no problem with that, I thought it'd be good to kind of revisit my military story. Now, the last one I did was about swim qual. And that was pretty funny in some regards for some of us, and not so funny for others. It was always interesting in swim qual that the guys that could run like gazelles, run like deer, run forever, and the lieutenants and the staff NCOs, the drill instructors, were just fawning over his run time. "Oh my God, sir, he has a 17 58 run time for the 3-mile. Oh, he's going to go far. He's going to go far. Put those same guys in the pool and they sink to the bottom like rocks. And it's the slow guys who are like turtles on land who are just going through the water like fish, like an orca, just laughing their asses off as they, watch the fast runners, splash and sink to the bottom a couple times. So I was thinking about the next phase of my military story before I graduated boot camp. And I'm like, oh yeah. I need to talk about the Reaper, right? And this goes out to all my fellow Parris Island Marines who take no shortage of pleasure in reminding us West Coast Marines, Hollywood Marines, soft Marines, city Marines, that we really didn't have it that tough in boot camp, because Parris Island is the real place where the Marine Corps was born and where real Marines are made. So I started thinking about this and I'm like, okay, they're in a swamp with mosquitoes and bugs and sand fleas, and I get it. It's hot. It sucks. But Parris Island Marines, people who join the Air Force or the Navy or even the Army, don't deal with something that San Diego Marines like myself dealt with. And it's these cute little things called hills. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, what's the big deal? A little hill there, a little hill there, here, there. Wow. What's the big deal? And I am like, well, first of all, these were hills, but they weren't like little hills you go sledding up and down. I mean, these were long marches up and down, and all through second phase, you got to play with hills. And it was a very effective way to weed out the chaff. And, we were, I went in the summer, right? So I didn't have heavy gear, but my, the packs weighed about 65 pounds when you had your rifle and your other stuff and your shelter half and your flat jacket. I mean, it was your body weight plus about 70 pounds extra. And all of a sudden, going up and down hills got very unfun. In fact, going up was bad enough, but I'll tell people to my dying day that going down actually sucked worse, because the weight on your back made you go faster and you're constantly trying to keep from, stepping into a hole or to, where the tires went or whatever. And, you're trying to keep up. It just stunk. And when you got to San Diego, one of the things that kept being thrown out to you was this hill at the end of second phase called the Reaper. Fear the Reaper. And you didn't, and it's the fear of the unknown, right? You didn't know what that thing was like, right? And all my drill instructors said, and other guys who, I met later said the same thing, is they all said the same thing. You weren't a real Marine unless you could climb the Reaper. So if they took you on the hump and you went up the Reaper and you didn't make it up, legend had it that they were going to push you back at the very least, or make your life a living hell at worst. So it behooved you to get in shape, stay in shape, and get the mental fortitude to go up this thing. And I'm like, oh, because, you go to Camp Hilton for second phase, like we get in the buses and you go up there and you go to the squad bays, and you could see in certain parts of the ocean from, where you were. And it's kind of this real messed up thing where you're seeing this natural beauty, but getting your ass kicked 12 hours a day too. It's just great. It's fantastic. And they start off with these series of humps. Um, I think for the 4 weeks we were up there, we'd have a hump every week. And the first one was like 3 miles. And it wasn't exactly like a little walk, it was more like a controlled run. And I am like, I never laughed at grunts ever again when I got a taste of what they had to do every day. I'm like, this sucks. This is not fun. And then the next week was a 5 miler, and then the 7 miler, and then we did a 12 mile, I think. And that one ended with the Reaper. And if I'm off with the distances, sorry, it's been a while, but there were 4 of them that I remember, because the 7 miler is, we got back to the main squad bay area and we thought we were done, and the captain, who's the captain of our section at the time, over all the other platoons, took us for another 3 miles just to reinforce some mental toughness. It was great. Oh, it was wonderful. Loved it. So we're doing the last hump last week of second phase, and you didn't want to be in a platoon that had people falling out. Everybody had to finish, and in your platoon, you did not want to be the very last one in your platoon up the mountain. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. Let's just do this thing. And, here we go. So come to find out later, this is a hill or foothill or mountain. I don't know the exact geological term for it, but it's 700 feet from the bottom to the top. So about 2.5 football fields, which doesn't sound like a lot until you get to the bottom and look up and realize that you can't see the top from the bottom. And it's steep. And I am like, okay, we are not in Kansas anymore. So we do our hump, and the drill instructors are like, look, we're all going to stay together. We're all going to do this. This is how you do it. You're going to, get to the bottom of the hill. We're going to break, water up, and then go do this thing. They want to make sure we could, like a quarter mile before we went up, they stopped, told us, hey, we told you all first phase, second phase to pump your arms, lean forward, and do not stop. And I'm like, this is big, right? Because, again, legend had it that if you did not get up this thing, you were not graduating Marine Corps boot camp. They would find a way to wash you out, is what we were told. Or, depending upon what happened, your life was going to be miserable for the next 5 weeks. So at the bottom, you got your Alice pack, that's the pack we had, that's we were issued at the time. You get it cinched tight to your body. You've got the flat jacket on, you've drank, 2 canteens of water. It's about a half gallon of water. You're ready to go. And we get there. And so the senior DI was at the front. And then the assistant drill instructor was kind of in the first third with the other 2, bringing up the rear and watching the middle. And we got going, and very quickly it's like, whoa. And I'm just doing this from memory, but I just remember, okay, the first couple of feet weren't that bad, and then it kind of went like this. You kind of start off like this, it leveled out, then it started like this and leveled out, and then it went like this for a long time. And you're literally, lean over so far that you're kind of not really walking up. You're using your hands and your feet to move up this mountain, man. And I understood then why they told you do not stop, because once you get the momentum to get up this thing, you did not want to quit. stopping was akin to, bad things happening. Because if you stopped and, got a cramp or decided that it was too hard, going down wasn't fun because there's people coming behind you and you didn't want to, be in their way, which happened. Like, we're going, 2,125 our platoon, 2125 golf company. We're all doing it, man. We're staying together. The DIs are pretty happy. They're not yelling at us too bad. And there's another company ahead of us, and there's like a drill instructor with like 3 guys who are stopped. And, we're starting to panic because all of a sudden we slow down. And so our seniors like, go around them, just do not stop, do not stop, do not stop. And I'm trying not to freak out because I'm like, I made the mistake of looking behind me like this. And I'm like, wow, that's a long way to the bottom of the thing. Because, a story in a building is about 11 feet tall. So if you're going up 700 feet, that's, the equivalent to a 70-story building. It's a long way down if you roll down or have to go back down. And you did not want to walk back down that hill while other people were going up. So at that point, I'm like, I just don't care. I'm with my bros, we're all like, yelling, yeah, we got this. We're shouting all this stuff and we're getting all moto, 2,125 platoon, hoorah, senior drill instructor, we're right there, and he's, they're, because I'll brag, we did all right. We did all right. We had nobody fall out. We all didn't stay together. There was like, by the time we were done, there was like 4 groups that were kind of like spread out because of just, it's hard to keep, 40 guys in the same space as you're going up something like that. But the fact of the matter was, we all finished within 7 minutes of each other. So the first group got up, and then I was like because of my short legs, I was more towards the rear of the platoon when I marched in drill. So I was at the back with a lot of other people. And, we weren't the very last group, but there were no stragglers. There were no stragglers. We were just, it's like a daisy chain that kind of gets spread out. And I was in like the second to last group, came over the hill, and I was absolutely, ecstatic. It's one of the few times in my life where I'm like, you know what, that you've done something. It might be you just picking a pack and, physically going over an objective, but you get up that thing and you realize that you had the mental and physical toughness to do it. And, it was really cool because when we all got up there, our senior and all the drill instructors kind of, for like 5 minutes, kind of eased off the gas of being just complete, jerks, a-holes, and, hardcore for just 5 minutes and congratulate us on a job well done. We finished the hump, went back to the squad bay and then got thrashed for, just normal part of the day. Hey, my wife yelled at me before I came to work, so I'm going to thrash you guys. That's just, kind of how it went. And, we all got over it and did it. But it was really kind of a cool experience once you got over that hill. And I say cool because, again, you go to, the Navy boot camp, they don't have anything like that. Coast Guard doesn't have anything like that. The Air Force certainly doesn't have anything like that. I don't know if any of the Army boot camps are in what you would call a mountainous or hilly region. I don't know, but I don't think there's anything quite like that. I don't think they ask you to hump 7 to 10 miles and then go up something like that and then hump 2 miles back to your squad bay. I don't think that's done. And the Paris Island Marines, who love to sit there and tell us Hollywood guys and San Diego Marines how soft we are, I don't see you all saying, hey, let's get together a section hump and go out to Camp Pendleton and go up the Reaper sometime to see what it's like. I've never heard of a Paris Island Marine offering to do that. So until you all do, I don't want to hear it. It's a very singular, unique experience to San Diego Marines who go to boot camp at MCRD. And, those of us who make it, all of us for a brief moment in time, we're like, wow, we've accomplished something, because you get to the top and you turn around and look about at the bottom, and there's like these small characters, like ants going up the anthill, and you realize, holy moly, that's a long way up, man. It's a long freaking way up. And so it's just really, really cool to be a part of that. And then, thinking back when I get sentimental, when that happens, I'm like, wow, there's not very many people in the world who do that in the military. I'm sure there's countries that have their training in the mountains, and that's one thing. But as far as like, initial basic training or some kind of in-doc training for military service, there's not a lot of that. Now, I know the special forces train in the mountains all the time. That's one thing, but not like this. And then I got some real respect for, 0311 MOS, the grunts, the infantry. When I went to MCT, and thought I was pretty, badass doing that, until you go to SOI, School of Infantry, right next to where MCT, Marine Combat trains. So everybody who goes through boot camp at the time, if you were not a infantry grunt MOS, you went to Marine Combat training, because every Marine is supposed to be a rifleman. And if you were an infantry, you went right to SOI, which is School of Infantry. So, we're doing our humps through the hills, and, they weren't as bad as, the Reaper and boot camp, but, they weren't easy either. But we saw, I saw infantry, trainees doing stuff. I'm like, they got up to the top of that hill somehow, and that looks like it's higher than what it was in boot camp. So all I gotta say is, much respect, because humping that pack takes a toll on your body. It can be a brutal exercise in mental toughness, and what's required to, stay in formation can be just as tough as actually fighting. So, much respect. But for anybody out there who's watching this, if you've got any, comments about your time at San Diego, that's great. If you're a Parris Island Marine who actually came back and, ever tried humping in Camp Pendleton, I'd like to hear what your thoughts were. And yes, I hear about the sand fleas, and yes, I hear about the swamps and the alligators and the bugs and the snakes. Hey, we had snakes out there in Camp Pendleton too. And, we were told, if you run across a snake, let it bite you. You can't kill the snake. It's government property. So let the snake bite you, and then we'll take care of you. Look, I lived in Louisiana before I went in the Marine Corps, and, I was raised with a very black or white view of a snake trying to bite me. If I couldn't run away, I was supposed to kill it. So I just figured if I ever came across a rattlesnake in the wild, that's just one thing I'm not going to sit there and tell the first sergeant about. I'm just going to get a rock, take care of business, and keep on walking. Government property or not. Which I was government property too, so I never figured out why the snake mattered more than me. But anyway. So yeah, I've had some pictures going through the video as I'm talking about the Reaper. It is part legend, part folklore for the Marine Corps, and part reality. And for me, at the time, is a pretty special moment in my life, and certainly something that a lot of people don't get to do. So that's it for this one. Hope you're having a fun time as we wind down through August and get closer to Labor Day. Just a merch alert, like you've been seeing, shirts are available, and the sale of these shirts, go back to veteran service organizations. Also, you're going to see some links for Semper Savage salad dressing in the Oscar Mike Radio post, whether you're reading the website post or Facebook or YouTube. And, if you buy, use the coupon code in there and buy with my link, all the proceeds are going back to veteran service organizations as well. It's just a really good time for the show, and thank you for coming by. Got some cool guests and cool topics coming up. Want to check those out. My name is Travis. Thank you so much. We are mission in flight.